Whispers of the Nile, the priest's haunting. Whispers of the Nile. In the ancient city of Thebes, where the mighty Nile was revered as both a giver and taker of life, a revered priest named Amset began to hear disembodied voices drifting on the humid night air. At first, the whispers were soft, a murmur resembling the gentle flow of the river. But as nights passed, they escalated into anguished pleas and bitter curses, uttered in an archaic tongue that chilled his very soul. Compelled by fear and duty, Amset ventured to the riverbank under a blood-red moon. There, the dark waters stirred with an eerie luminescence. Emerging from the depths were ghostly apparitions, the tortured souls of those sacrificed to appease the wrathful river deity, Hapi. Their forms were twisted by eternal torment, and their mournful cries resonated like a dirge across the silent sands of Thebes. Each new moon, the apparitions grew stronger, and a series of gruesome, inexplicable deaths began to plague the city. Citizens vanished in the night. Revered elders were found lifeless at their doorsteps, their eyes wide with unspoken terror. The Nile, once a symbol of hope and fertility, had become a harbinger of doom, and the entire city trembled under the weight of an ancient curse. Determined to end the terror, Amset delved into the forbidden archives of the temple, seeking lost incantations that might appease the vengeful spirits. Amid crumbling papyri and secret chambers, he uncovered rituals older than the pyramids themselves, rituals that demanded a sacrifice not just of blood, but of one's very soul. Each attempt to recite the incantations only stirred the river further. The whispers grew louder, warning that some debts could only be repaid in eternal suffering. Haunted by nightmarish visions and desperate for a solution, Amset discovered a hidden shrine beneath the temple, where the forgotten rites of Hapi were inscribed in cold stone. There, amid the flickering shadows of ancient torches, the priest realized that the balance between life and death was disturbed by the forsaking of sacred traditions. The spirits, bound by ancient oaths, demanded retribution. In a final, desperate bid to restore order, Amset prepared for a ritual that would merge his essence with the divine flow of the Nile. Under the oppressive gaze of a full crimson moon, he chanted the forbidden verses. His voice, trembling yet resolute, merged with the chorus of spectral lamentations. As the incantations reached a fevered pitch, the river roared in response, its turbulent waters rising in a supernatural display. For a fleeting moment, the boundary between the living and the dead dissolved. The tortured souls wailed one last time before being drawn back into the depths of the Nile, their anguish fading into a sorrowful silence. But the cost was profound. Amset, now forever changed, bore the mark of the river. His eyes, once clear and steadfast, now shimmered with the eternal sorrow of the drowned, a living reminder that the past is never truly at rest. In Thebes, whispers of the priest who sacrificed himself to quiet the cursed voices became legend. The Nile continued to flow, carrying with it the secrets of the dead and a warning. When the ancient deities are disturbed, the echoes of their wrath will haunt the living for all eternity.